Welcome, everyone. Please take your seats. We are so excited to have everyone here at LaGuardia Airport for this great groundbreaking. We are very excited by the partnerships that we have in this room. Now, I am the president of this great borough, Melinda Katz, president of Queens. You know, Governor, we take great pride. Airport noise. Big thing in Queens, Governor, just saying. We take great pride on several things here in the borough of Queens. One is that our great airports are from this borough, and the second, Mr. Cuomo, is that you hail from the borough of Queens. Now, as borough president and beginning of this great program, it's my unfortunate duty to acknowledge all of the great dignitaries that are here. And I say unfortunate because the governor and I were talking. We haven't seen this many dignitaries in the borough of Queens since the World's Fair. But I am going to do my best. Please hold applause until the end. Congressman Gregory Meeks, Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney, Senator Joseph Addabbo Jr., Senator Jose Peralta, Senator James Sanders Jr., Assemblymember Jeffrey Ann Aubrey, Assemblymember Vivian Cook, Assemblymember Rebecca Seawright, Assemblymember Arabella Simotis, Councilmember Elizabeth Crowley, Councilmember Robert Cornegie, Mario Salento, President of the New York State AFL-CIO, Shirley Aldebal, Vice President 32BJ, Joe Azapardi, Business Manager DC9 Painters, Chris Erickson, President Local 3, Greg Floyd, President Teamsters Local 237, Jim Mahoney, Vice President New York State Ironworkers, Michael McGuire, Director Mason Tenderers, District Council PAC John Skinner, President Local 46, Lisa Scully, General Manager, LaGuardia Airport, Jeff Wilpont, members of our communities and community boards, and I see Gary LaBarbera, New York State Building Trades Association. We want to thank the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Especially want to thank the new Executive Director, Rick Cotton, for always listening to our great community's concerns. We want to thank Delta Airport Ed Bastian, CEO, for all of the work and investment that Delta is making in the state of New York, but especially here in the borough of Queens. But Ed, I really got to thank you for Patty Ornst, your government relations person. She is awesome. And if you look around this great state of New York, you will see magic happening. Magic is happening from every corner of this great state. This is a governor that understands that investment's not only about jobs that are created right now, and there are tens and hundreds of thousands of jobs being created all around the state of New York because of the investment of the infrastructure of this state. But we also understand that we are building not only for this generation, we are building for generations that come, for our children, for our children's children. And we are building every step of the way with this governor a better and a stronger and a more competitive New York for generations to come. And with that investment that Governor Cuomo has made all around the state comes confidence, comes the ability for private investors to say, look at what the state of New York is doing, we're going to invest also. And so Delta has committed and has made those investments, and we are so proud to be here as we start that trail and start that investment with good paying, great union jobs here at LaGuardia Airport. And we look forward to working with the community and with the state. Governor, we also look forward to the great air train that we know you have a great investment and affinity towards. I want you to know that is going to do great things for travel here in the state of New York. So thank you for that. And with that, we bring a video to let you know about the investments that are here at LaGuardia, to let you know about Delta's investments, and to everyone here today, congratulations on this great day.
For decades, this nation ignored its transportation infrastructure, and New York was no exception. But today is a different day in New York. Today, we are talking about one of our most urgent infrastructure needs: replacing LaGuardia with a new airport. This will be the first new airport in the nation since Denver International opened in 1995. That's more than 20 years since this nation built a new airport. In 2014, Vice President Biden said,
"If I took you in blindfold and you took you to LaGuardia Airport in New York, you must think I must be in some third world country."
That's how chaotic and poorly designed it was. The truth is, it was never one airport. It was a series of separate terminals, overly complicated and confusing. We started building a new airport that is truly a public-private partnership, with nearly $6 billion of the $8 billion cost of the entire integrated, state-of-the-art airport coming from the private sector. Construction has started from the west, building facilities for American, United, JetBlue, Southwest Airlines, and Air Canada. And today, we start construction on the east side, which will be exclusively leased by Delta Airlines. Delta is investing $3.4 billion, the airline's largest single investment ever. Our vision is a single, modern airport that will rival any other airport in the world. Here's the airport, and look how beautiful it will be. An airport structure stretching almost a mile, designed to show the public a single, unified face. Walls of glass that will accentuate the play of light across public areas of the new airport. Not only is the building unified, but so is the customer experience. Built with steel and glass, with clean edges, the terminal is designed to lift people up into well-lit and airy spaces. The Central Hall, with state-of-the-art passenger amenities and world-class dining and retail, will provide conference facilities for passengers who want to conduct business at the airport, with the option of an on-site hotel. For the first time ever, passengers will be able to access every commercial airline from one central location, with brand new gates, brand new roadways, state-of-the-art pickup areas for ground transportation, brand new digital check-in, world-class security features, and brand new air train and high-speed ferry access. It sits in a prime location, just a short ride from Manhattan, accessible to Grand Central Parkway and the Long Island Expressway, and the nearby exciting new Citi Field. The ingenious design moves the terminal 600 feet closer to the Grand Central Parkway to maximize space, and it creates 240% more room for flight operations. The new alignment will ease traffic flow onto and off the parkway. While we're moving into the future, we respect and are preserving the historic Art Deco Marine Terminal, built in 1939 for Pan Am's flying boats. This is a whole new airport for a new New York. And we are moving forward with New York speed. In January 2015, Governor Cuomo created a Blue Ribbon Advisory Board on LaGuardia. In July of 2015, the advisory panel unveiled its plans. In response to the governor's initiative and invitation, Delta quickly announced it would join us. In June of 2016, we broke ground on the western end of the airport. And today, we break ground on the eastern part of the airport that will be occupied exclusively by Delta. New operations will begin to phase in during 2020. Delta operations will begin in its new facilities in the eastern end of the airport in 2021. Building the new New York airport will create 16,000 direct jobs and 20,000 indirect jobs. It is being built by the trusted hands of the men and women of organized labor, and the airport employees will be represented by 32BJ. Not only will the new LaGuardia Airport drive the economy and boost tourism, but there's a revolutionary MWBE component. MWBE's role will not be limited to just on-site jobs and contractors, as they have been in the past, but will include a role as private equity partners. This is the first time a state has said that you must have an MWBE equity partner. Today, New York State is restoring a legacy of leadership and regaining its stride. We are seeing progress everywhere, from Buffalo to Montauk. This is not the end of our story. Stay tuned for the soon-to-be unveiled new John F. Kennedy Airport. New York is on the move, and we welcome with open arms Delta Airlines. Thank you for growing with us, and welcome to the New York family.
I'm delighted to be here. I am Rick Cotton, currently special counselor to Governor Cuomo and the incoming executive director of the Port Authority. And this is truly a great day. Thank you all for joining us. I'd also like to thank Melinda Katz for her energy in opening the program. Why don't we give Melinda a big hand? I'm here to lay out the program. We have 3 speakers, but before I do that, I'd like to continue just a few more acknowledgments, but these are people who have become very important to me, and they are very important to the future of LaGuardia. They're very important to the transportation infrastructure of the region. They are the commissioners on the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. First, I'd like to introduce Kevin O'Toole, new chair of the Port Authority. Kevin and I have already begun to work closely together, and I look forward to a collegial and cooperative relationship. In addition, we have Jeff Linford, Vice Chair of the Port Authority. We have Leisha Eve, Commissioner. We have Gary LaBarbera, Commissioner. We have George McDonald, Commissioner. Rosanna Rosado, Commissioner, and also the New York Secretary of State. Karen Turner, Commissioner. And we also have Pat Foy, the outgoing Executive Director. So my duties up here are to identify our 3 speakers, but first I'm going to go a little rogue from the script. Never a good idea with the governor in the audience, but still. This week I conclude 2.5 years of working for the governor in the office of the governor. My charge has been to work with him on most of his major downstate infrastructure projects. As I've gotten into working on them, a colleague who has spent most of their career in infrastructure described to me, or said to me, that he thinks of major public infrastructure projects as a series of near-death experiences. If we look at the record of this governor, the projects that I've worked with him on, they are projects that have been talked about for literally decades. The Tappan Zee Bridge, New Moynihan Train Hall, Javits expansion, the 3rd track on the Long Island Railroad, and of course the project we're here today, LaGuardia. It is clear why people have talked about major infrastructure projects but never actually done them. There are so many pitfalls. It is so easy for projects to fail. They can fail for lack of funding. They can fail for not engaging the community sufficiently. They can fail because the permitting process overwhelms them or takes too long. There are 1,000 reasons. It takes leadership and it takes commitment to drive projects through to completion. And I would just like to thank the governor for offering me the opportunity to work with him. And what I would say is the success of these projects starts at the top. This governor has demonstrated leadership and commitment with respect to each and every one of these projects, and it is truly why we are here today to celebrate the achievements that we're going to discuss. So our program today will consist of 3 speakers. First, we will hear from the CEO of Delta, Ed Bastian, an impressive leader who demonstrated extraordinary vision, commitment, and leadership when Delta Airlines stepped up to embrace the goal of the governor's vision to completely rebuild this airport 2 years ago. Next, we will hear from Jane Garvey. She is the chair of LaGuardia Gateway Partners, who has begun the construction on the western end of the airport. She is a former administrator of the FAA with a long and distinguished career in the airport industry. And Jane will tell you more about LGP's new landmark minority equity investment, an achievement of which we can all be proud. Finally, we will hear from Mark Morial, president of the National Urban League. He also joins us with a history of fighting to give every minority and woman-owned business in this country a seat at the table. And today, as you will hear from Jane and from him, marks a major new advance in that effort. Now I'd like to welcome a great partner in the LaGuardia rebuild, Ed Bastian, the CEO of Delta Airlines.
Well, thank you, Rick. Great to be here. Great to see the great turnout that we had here. Governor, a few weeks ago when we finalized the deal on the lease, we said let's do a little groundbreaking ceremony, and this is what it turned into. So obviously there's a lot of excitement. This is a truly monumental day for Delta Airlines in our history, as well as the history of LaGuardia Airport and the great state of New York. And we're honored to partner with Governor Cuomo on his vision for a 21st century state-of-the-art airport. This new $4 billion investment marks the largest airport investment in Delta's history. It's big. It's big. It underscores our commitment to LaGuardia, to New York, and to providing our customers and to our employees here and across the state a world-class customer experience at one of our most important airports. Delta's new terminal will truly be state-of-the-art. It will feature 4 concourses with a total of 37 flexibly sized gates that can accommodate all of our Delta's fleet needs. There will be a new larger Delta Sky Club with Sky Deck, new hold rooms with better seating, 30% more concession space, and sustainable and scalable technology befitting of the airport of the future. And last but not least, the 240% more ground space that we have for the tarmac in one of the most difficult operational environments we have, not just in our country, in the world here, as we try to squeeze as many passengers that want to get to New York as we can. It's going to be huge for our customers with all the congestion that we face in today's airspace. We're confident that the new LaGuardia is one that New Yorkers will be proud to call their hometown airport. And we believe this investment will further cement Delta as the #1 airline in New York with the best customer experience on the ground as well as in the air. Today's groundbreaking is proof, Rick, that private sector and government working together can deliver great things. And thanks to everyone, there's been many, many people who've played a role in making this effort happen and getting us to where we are so far. Delta has been part of LaGuardia for a long time. Our service started back in 1969 with 6 daily flights on DC-9 jets. Today we have over 250 flights a day. You can see how far we've come. In 1983, I love this, in 1983 we opened the $90 million LaGuardia Flight Center. At the time, it was thought to be the world's most modern airline terminal. In 1991, we debuted the Delta Shuttle with hourly service to Boston and to Washington. And the milestones have continued, and our investments in New York's airports have grown, especially over the last decade. After executing in 2012 the largest network expansion at LaGuardia in decades, we invested $200 million to renovate and connect Terminal C and Terminals D. And altogether, including what we've done at JFK, we've spent more than $2 billion here as part of our efforts to improve the customer experience, and we're just starting. And that's all before the next $4 billion of investment that we're talking about at LaGuardia today. The entire Delta family is proud that our investments in New York are not only building and boosting a world-class airline experience, but also helping the New York economy and creating wonderful new jobs. I want to congratulate LaGuardia Gateway Partners as well as the Port Authority on the work they've already done in the construction of their new terminal, the new roadways and other infrastructure. We look forward to continuing to work with you as our own project begins, and as the governor constantly reminds me, our job is now to catch up to you. So we're going to work hard to make that happen. Governor Cuomo, 2 years ago, we stood together and said we're going to do this. I don't think either of us thought it would take 2 years, but we're still here. We're still as enthused. We're still as excited. We're still as proud of what we're doing. I want to thank you for your leadership and your spark, because Rick is absolutely right. This stuff is hard. And without that vision and that leadership and that focus, this would not be possible. So I want to thank you for your leadership in making this happen. And for those of you that know me, I'm a New Yorker. I may live in Atlanta, but I'm a New Yorker, and I will always be a New Yorker. So it's a especially proud day for me to be here today. I want to thank my good friend Pat Foy. Pat, your leadership at the port was amazing. And through that 2-year period, as well as many other projects and many other years, you've always been a steadfast leader that I know I can go to and get the straight scoop as to what's happening and what we need to do to continue to partner together. You've been a great partner. The MTA is very fortunate to have you, and I wish you luck in your new role. And last but certainly not least, for the people of Delta Airlines, I'm just so proud of what we do here, because we do this because of you. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So Henry Kuykendall, Henry runs our New York operations. Ginny Elliott, Ginny runs our airport here at LaGuardia. Ryan Mazzurlo is responsible for the real estate. Paul Jacobson, our CFO, runs the finance operations. It's taken a true family effort to bring this to fruition, and we could not be more proud of this day, and we're going to work like hell to make it all happen as quickly and as speedily and as effectively as possible. Thank you all.
Please welcome to the stage Jane Garvey.
Well, congratulations, Ed. That is terrific. And those of us at LaGuardia Gateway Partners are so excited to have you here. And I know we're all part of something that's quite extraordinary. Pat Foy, thank you. As Ed said, your leadership and support throughout this project has been extraordinary from day one, and we couldn't have done it without you. Rick mentioned that I've been in the airport business for about 30 years. That seems like a long time. I was the first female Federal Aviation Administrator as well. But I don't think I've ever been as excited to see a project as I am about what we're all embarking on here at LaGuardia Airport. The complete reconstruction of LaGuardia into a single, unified gateway represents the first major transformation of any U.S. airport in over 2 decades. It's extraordinary. I was thinking about that today. I think I was just really starting my career in many ways when the last transformation took place. But that boldness and ambition, coupled with the leadership and the skill of the governor, is what's allowed this project to move forward. And as Ed said, at really record speed. And it's what our country's infrastructure so badly needs, that same kind of leadership. And I'd say really kudos to the governor, to his terrific staff, for really pulling this off. It's really extraordinary. And as the chairwoman of the LaGuardia Gateway Partners, the public-private partnership that is building the $4 billion western half of the project, or western half of the airport, I am especially proud to announce that under the governor's leadership, today marks another New York first. We are joining forces with Loop Capital and Magic Johnson, and they are becoming an equity investor in LaGuardia Gateway Partners. And I am delighted to see Jim Reynolds here, who's the CEO, president of Loop Capital. This investment represents really a significant shift in the state's MWBE commitment from firms providing goods and services so critical and so important for projects like these, but now providing the first ever opportunity for an MWBE firm to create wealth by investing in the nation's largest public-private partnership in LaGuardia, here at LaGuardia Airport. And it's really that kind of innovation and ingenuity that is propelling New York forward. We are delighted to be embarking on this journey together and welcome our new partners. I want to go back to something that Rick said, and he spoke about leadership, and I would offer one additional point. I have never, in the 30 years that I've been in infrastructure and transportation and airports, I have never seen a public works project succeed, one as complex as this, for example, without strong local leadership. We are blessed, and we are very, very fortunate to have had the strong leadership of the governor. His vision, his support, and his dedication has really propelled us to this point. Thank you. We are delighted to be joining with Delta and embarking on what is going to be an extraordinary journey. And we're going to get it done, Governor, on time. Maybe not under budget. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Please welcome to the stage Mark Morial.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Jane. Let's give Jane another warm round of applause. This is an exciting day, not only for the people of New York, but for the people of this nation and for minority and women-owned businesses all across America. Today, this state, New York State, is leading the way to provide economic opportunity for every New Yorker and ensuring that MWBEs participate at every level of the economy. As President and CEO of the National Urban League, the nation's largest historic civil rights and urban advocacy organization headquartered right here in New York City, I have watched this governor consistently deliver on issues that matter the most: social and economic justice, access to higher and elementary education, and importantly, as we celebrate today, equal participation for MWBEs at every level of government. This governor doesn't just talk about it, he gets it done. From setting the nation's highest goal for MWBE participation in procurement, to increasing MWB certification, to supporting MWBEs through innovative business growth accelerators, New York continues to set an example for the entire nation to follow. And today, Governor, you are stepping up once again for MWBEs. This marks the first time in New York State history that any governor has said you must have an MWBE equity partner in a project of this size and scale. And by welcoming Loop Capital and Magic Johnson Enterprises, represented here by Jim Reynolds, as partner and owner, not just contracting work for goods and services, although that's important too, but the governor has sent a message loud and clear that this state demands that MWBEs have the opportunity not only to compete on the front lines, but also in the boardrooms of America. Ladies and gentlemen, in the 21st century, this is how we define equity. This is how we define fairness, and this is what I call groundbreaking. Under the governor's leadership, New York is tearing down barriers while building up the first new airport in the country in over 2 decades. It is a great milestone and a tremendous achievement. This airport bears the name of a great 20th century New Yorker and a great 20th century American, Fiorello LaGuardia. Today, I am proud to welcome a great 21st century New Yorker and a great 21st century American, the 56th governor of the great state of New York, Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you. Thank you. Today is a good day. It is a good day. First, to our borough president. You like to say that, president of the borough, don't you? Melinda Katz, who's doing a great job for Queens. Let's give her a round of applause. Ed Bastian, welcome to New York. We love having you here. Ed Bastian, Delta Airlines. Jane Garvey, thank you for everything you've done to help expedite this project. Mark Morial, who was mayor of New Orleans. We did a lot of great work down there. He was a superstar then. What he's doing with the Urban League is literally helping people all across the nation. God bless you, Mark Morial. I want to thank Rick Cotton, who, as you heard, worked with me for the past 2 years doing downstate infrastructure projects. I know there were a lot of meetings that we had where I would say, we have to get this done and this done and this done. And he would look at me like, you are just out of your mind, man. But he never said no. And even more importantly, he's gotten it all done. And he's a perfect person to go to the Port Authority and make that vehicle the vehicle for tomorrow. Rick Cotton, thank you very much. Pat Foy, who did a great job at the Port Authority, is now moving over to the MTA. We need him there. Let's give him a round of applause. And to all the Port Authority board members, thank you, thank you, thank you. Chairman O'Toole, welcome. Welcome to New York. Welcome to the port. We love having you. The new chairman, Kevin O'Toole. As the borough president said, this is my home borough. I am a Queens boy, born and raised, proud of it. I worked in Washington for 8 years in the Clinton administration, and I was in just about every state in the nation. And I would get up and I would give my speech, and the people would be looking at me, and after the speech, almost without exception, somebody would come up and they'd say, "Is that a New York accent?" And I would say, "No, that's a Queens accent, and I am proud of it." You know, we're talking about infrastructure today. Infrastructure. It's a bad word, infrastructure. It's hard to say, it's confusing. Maybe that's the reason this nation hasn't invested in infrastructure the way it needs to. Everybody says that you have to do it for the future. Vice President Joe Biden, 8 years, went all over the country saying we have to invest in infrastructure. We're falling behind our ports, our terminals. Said it over and over again. Candidate Trump, when he was running for president, said we have to invest in infrastructure, and I pledge $1 trillion in infrastructure. He was right. I don't know what happened to the $1 trillion, but he was right about investing in infrastructure. Everybody says it, and history shows that it works. You look where we build a transportation infrastructure and development will follow. President Eisenhower did that with the national grid. We built the Long Island Railroad through Long Island. We went through potato fields and then populated all of Long Island. 2nd Avenue subway in Manhattan, we just opened up. Now all that real estate along the 2nd Avenue subway is booming. I was HUD secretary, and I'd fly into a city, and as I'd fly into the city, I would look to see how many cranes were up in the sky, how much building they were doing. And my message to every city was the same thing. Either you are building and developing, or you are going backwards. Because if you're not building and developing, your competition surely is. This nation has to understand that message. We are living off the inheritance, not of our parents, of our grandparents. Everything you see, all the infrastructure you see, everything we built, all these great accomplishments, literally from our grandparents' generation. And we've been standing still. But while we've been standing still, our competition around the globe has been working and building and developing. And airports are a perfect example of it. They are tremendously important. The airports are now the front door to that state. And they make a statement. And you have beautiful airports being built all around the globe. Korea, Munich, Dubai, Hong Kong, magnificent structures. And for decades, this nation has done nothing. Nothing. Think about it. The last new airport, over 20 years old, the Denver airport. And we let our competition pass us by. Well, today says it's a different day, my friends. We're going to build a new airport. It's going to be smarter, more efficient, more effective than ever before. It's an economic center in and of itself. With a business conference, we can build a hotel, retail restaurants, you name it, in and of itself, it's there. We are going to put in an air train because there's no airport that works in a metropolitan area that doesn't have a one-seat ride to the airport, and it's about time New York did. It is going to be a beautiful front door to New York. It's going to welcome 50 million tourists a year to New York. It's going to welcome business people to New York. And it's exactly what New York deserves. Now, there's no doubt but that it's going to help grow the economy in the future. But it's also helping the economy today. 16,000 men and women building this airport, members of organized labor, building it the right way. $20,000 indirect jobs, workers at the airport organized by 32BJ. This is a workforce that we can be proud of. And the development itself is a beautiful, progressive, groundbreaking policy. And that's what Mark Morial was talking about. When we build, when we progress, we want to bring everybody with us. Our MWBE program, Minority Women Business Enterprise, we have the most ambitious goal in the United States of America at 30%. No city in this state comes close to what we do, and no state in this nation comes close to what we do, and we're proud of it. But this takes it to a new level. It says not just jobs, not just contracts to subcontractors working here on the airport, but MWBE applied to the ownership of the project, the equity of the project, because that's where wealth comes from. It has established a new national standard and a new national precedent. Congressman Greg Meeks is here. He's been talking about this all across the country. And New York is now going to do it. And you know what we've learned? When New York does something, others follow, and you watch them follow our lead to a new MWBE standard. And to me, this new LaGuardia is not just an airport. It is a symbol, and it's a symbol for what you've heard from almost every speaker before. For too long, the question has been, no, we can't get this done because it's too hard and there's too many obstacles. Whatever you set out to do in life, if it is worth doing, and it's special and it's extraordinary, it is going to be hard. And yes, there are obstacles, and yes, you have to deal with the Port Authority, although that's always a pleasure. And yes, you have to deal with the federal government and FAA, and that's another pleasure. And yes, you have to work with the community, and yes, you have to work with the Queensborough president, which truly is a pleasure. But we have been paralyzed too long as a nation. We have been paralyzed for generations. We have been afraid of the challenge, and we've looked at the obstacles, and we've turned and we've run. And that, my friends, is not what built this nation. And that is not the attitude that built this state. Yes, there are always obstacles when you're trying to do something extraordinary. But there is no obstacle that we cannot overcome when we work together, and that's what this airport says. This airport says we can turn dreams into reality, and we can do it quickly. 2015, we announced the plan. 2016, we broke ground on this airport. And it's not just LaGuardia. We are doing it all over the state, taking those projects that were stuck in the quagmire of the bureaucracy, that were just too complicated, and we're picking them up and we're doing them. Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan, God rest his soul, 20 years ago said, we need a substitute for Penn Station because Penn Station is intolerable. And we should build a new train hall across the street, and they named it the Moynihan Train Hall. And you know what happened in the interim? Nothing. And you know what's going to happen in 2 weeks? We're going to break ground on the new Moynihan Train Hall. They've been talking about a Javits Center that is now too small for the competition, and we just broke ground on a 1.5 million square foot expansion for the Javits Center. We just approved a Long Island Railroad transformation plan they've been talking about for 70 years, and we just got approval for a $2.6 billion overhaul for the LIRR. A new Tappan Zee Bridge. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. And that spirit is what made New York, New York. Now to Mr. Ed Bastian, we welcome you back home. You still have a little Atlanta in you when your last line was, I'll see y'all, you know. So you have a little Atlanta in you, but you have the heart of a New Yorker. And we welcome you here. $3.4 billion largest investment for Delta. I can also tell you it is the smartest investment for Delta because you're investing in the great state of New York. And this state is the progressive, the entrepreneurial, and the building capital of the nation. And we are restoring that legacy because this state is all about a proud legacy that did everything first. We believe that we can accomplish what we set our mind to. We believe that we can reach higher. We believe we can do more. And we believe we can do more and bring more people with us. Because we believe the greatest success is shared success. And that's what we're seeing here today. This state's motto says it all. Excelsior, ever upwards. Today, New York points the direction for this nation to follow. It is Excelsior. The direction is up. Thank you and God bless you, and let's sign the lease.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now have a short signing ceremony with the governor and Mr. Bastian.